Welcome to Heaping Spoonful, a twice-monthly conversation with restaurateurs, chefs, growers, and others who have helped generate the legends associated with eateries across the Mid-South. The team at Benny Keith is proud to sponsor this adventure with the goal of preserving the stories that have helped cultivate an amazing food scene across the Mid-South. So kick back and enjoy a Heaping Spoonful.
All right, everybody, it is the first or the third Tuesday of the month, and that means we are here with Heaping Spoonful. We are over here at Benny Keith Studios, over here in Rose City. That's my Tuesday. I hang out in Rose City. That's what I do. I had Lost 40 crew in last week, and we were talking about Rose City. So that's what I do on Tuesday. I usually don't tell anybody I'm going to Benny Keith. I say, I'm just going over to hang out in Rose City. And they're like, what are you doing? Brian, what are you doing? So you've heard me say this so many times, but that's the kind of person I am. I'm a selfish person. So I want to get people on the show that I want to know more about. And the people sitting across from the table from me, I've known for a couple years now, but I feel like I don't know you guys, getting in deep, So across the table from me today, I have Peter and Whitney Loibner. Did I say it right?
You got it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So that was the thing we just talked about. I said, I just need proper pronunciation because I know as long as I've known you guys, I know I'm not saying it right. And I don't know why I never asked before. So I figured now was a good time. Good time.
Perfect.
So Peter and Whitney are right down in Argenta with me.
Whoop.
And at Blackberry Market. Rock and roll. How long have you been open down there now?
Just over 2 years. So, yeah, we celebrated 2 years at the beginning of December.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
That happened really fast.
Yes. It's fast and slow, all time.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I say the same thing. But 2 years, it feels like yesterday when you guys were moving in.
Yeah.
And I know it took a little bit of time with the space. I mean, there was a big renovation over there, right?
That's right.
Yes.
I don't remember what the building looked like before that, but I do know that when you started and when you finished, I was like, wow, there's something's there. It's happening and it looks really good. And it's an awesome space that you guys put together.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, I know that, how many Blackberry markets are there?
There are 4 in Chicagoland,
Okay.
all in the western suburbs, and
Okay.
then us.
And then you guys. Heck yeah.
And 2 of those have just opened in the last year. So,
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah. So when we started this, Peter's sister, who's in Chicago, had 2,
Okay.
and then us, and then they've opened 2 more.
And they've opened 2 more.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. It's a great spot. So what we're going to do is we're certainly going to talk about Blackberry Market, but I want to talk a little bit about you guys. Where are you guys from?
North Little Rock.
Are you from both of you from North Little Rock?
That's
We
right.
both grew up here.
Oh, wow. All right. What town? Are you Sherwood? Are you Lakewood? Where are you at?
No, we're North Little Rock. We both went to North Little Rock High School.
Oh, wow.
Right from there.
Yeah, so I grew up in Lakewood, Peter in Indian Hills. Yeah.
Okay.
So we are Dogtown people through
Nice.
and through.
All right. I think I knew that. I think we talked about that before, but I wasn't quite sure, so I figured I'd ask.
Yeah.
Now, when did you guys meet? I know you've been married you said 100 years. So
25. We just celebrated 25 years, and we're only in our mid-40s. So, yes, it feels like 100 or most of our lifetime.
there is something to be said for 25 years.
It's true.
For sure. That is, that's some time there. That's some time.
Sure is.
I tell, so my wife and I have been we've been married for, she's going to yell at me when she listens to this. We've been together almost 12, and I think we've been married 9. I
Okay.
think that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
That's right. Yeah.
Just
that's
commit.
right.
Yeah.
And somebody said to me last week when we were talking about it, I said, yeah, we've been together 12, married for 9. And they said, well, right now it's like this is where you make the decision. And I was like, I thought I already made the decision. What are you talking about?
What
I was like, how long have you
decision?
been married for? So we've been married for 30 years, but right around that 10-year mark is like, all right, are we going to do this or not? And I was like, I thought I was already committed.
Right.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Or like every day.
Yeah.
We're doing this.
Yeah, that's where we're at. So where did you guys meet? So you went to the same high school? Is that what it was?
We did. We're 2 grades apart, and at the time the campuses were split, so we never were actually in the same building with each other.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we didn't meet until I was a freshman in college, and I came back to lead the work crew of a camp that we both went to growing up, and Whitney and all her friends were on that work crew, and so that's the first time I met her.
All right. What year was that?
That was
96?
Yeah.
96.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget. We're all the same age.
Yeah, I thought we were about the same
Yeah,
age.
yeah.
Peter graduated in 96, me in 98.
Yeah, I graduated in
From North
98.
Little Rock.
You're so old, Peter.
Yeah,
My wife's a year older than me, and she knows it every day.
right.
I'm getting old, babe. She's like, shut up. Like, we're like a year and a week apart, something
Right.
like that. Yeah.
She's always got it on her.
I got to hold it over her head, you know?
right.
That's what I have to do. I think it's my responsibility as a husband.
Yeah,
That's what I do.
I agree.
Yeah. So was food, all right, so talk about Blackberry Market, but I don't think of Blackberry Market just as, I know people do Blackberry Market different ways. I know how I do Blackberry Market. It might be different than how everybody else does it, but have you guys always been into food? Like, has it always been a thing?
We've always been into food, but maybe not like in a working sense.
Gotcha.
Peter was in coffee for like 20 years before we opened Blackberry. But for me, Blackberry is my very first time working in a restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I worked in like service kind of jobs, but never in a restaurant. But food, like for our family, I think has always been a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you talk about coffee for 20 years, Pete. Like, when you talk about coffee for 20 years, like, my thoughts are on coffee, like, the big boom in coffee has only happened maybe in the last 5-7 years. Am I right by saying that? Like, from you coming from coffee for 20 years, I know, like, like the beer scene, like, everybody talks about craft beer now, but, like, you know, there's people that have been into it for 30 years, but now it's booming, you know? I feel like right now is like the day for coffee. Like, coffee is really hitting right now.
Yeah.
I feel like it is. Am I right by saying that?
No, I think that's accurate. I mean, so I was with Starbucks before this. I started in 2004 at the Chenal store, and at the time there was just 2 Starbucks in the whole state. So there was the Chenal and the Cantrell, Mississippi store.
Now they're all over the place.
Now they're all over the place. Yeah. So yeah, it was fun to like be part of that boom. And so they opened a good handful of stores, and I got to open the store at JFK McCain, which brought me back to North Little Rock.
Okay, yeah.
And
Is that that's the one right on the corner there?
yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's the one that's always... hate that parking lot.
It is a horrible parking lot. Funny story, Peter worked there like when he was in high school at like a 1-hour photo was in that same parking lot. And then they tore that building down. And then, 10 years later, whatever, there he is opening that Starbucks there. So like, small world. I feel like North Little Rock is full of the small
Full of
world
small,
little
yeah.
things. But
Peter was like, I really like this parking
right.
lot.
It's great.
Work at all the things that function in this
Just
space.
keep doing it.
Let's just keep doing it. Let's just stay right here. Yeah. So, well, the cool thing about that is you got to see the open. Like, you knew and it didn't scare you off, obviously.
Yeah.
So you got to see like the open of a Starbucks and what it took to open something like that, which is pretty cool. I don't talk bad on anybody. Okay. But I don't frequent Starbucks. I'm not a Starbucks person. But we are a coffee household for sure. My wife just got like an espresso.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, now I feel fancy.
Right. You are.
Yeah, I try to get my wife to wear an apron in the morning when she's making coffee. Like, can you put an apron on or something? She's like, shut up.
Hand it to me in a paper cup.
Yeah.
It just makes it feel better.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's very true. Very true. So Starbucks. Now, when he was working at Starbucks, where were you at?
Yeah. I mean, we had kids young too. So both of our kids are out of the house now. But I stayed home with our kids for some years, and then I ran a photography business.
Oh, okay.
So that is like what I was doing in there.
Why didn't I know that? I didn't know that.
I don't know. It just is a little piece of who I am or was, maybe. I feel like I carry it into the things that we're doing now.
Yeah. Do you, as far as social media goes, do you guys do that yourself?
Yeah, so I run all the socials.
That's what I
And
thought.
Not me at all in that world, just her.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's joy to me. I like doing those things. All the aesthetics are, a thing that is what I really enjoy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. My wife is the same way. She really likes that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Like if I could say like I want to open a restaurant like over here, she'd be like, "Can I decorate?"
Right. No, I'm on that train for sure. Yeah. You talked about like our space before, and yeah, like walking in this space the first time, like feeling like, oh yeah, I can totally see the things that this could be.
Oh yeah. So the first feeling I got when I walked into Blackberry Market was a sense of home. And the thing for me about that is where I'm from. So there's not a lot of down here. I honestly, I could say Blackberry Market is probably the only one that it's like you get that like big city feel, but it's comfortable. You know, like I could put Blackberry Market like in Philadelphia, like down Center City, and it would fit in fine. But it's more homey. It's more inviting, you know, than just like everybody in and out, just grabbing coffee and leaving. I know you have that. Obviously, there's people, business people, whatever, that everybody comes in every day and grabs their coffee and they leave. But the cool thing about Blackberry that I like is like it's very comfortable and homey. You know, you feel comfortable in there.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
That was high priority for sure.
Oh yeah. Especially when it comes to like, coffee shops are obviously big right now. So you have to, separate yourself from the others. And I don't think that with all the coffee shops that are happening right now, I don't think they're all super inviting like that. So to have Blackberry Market right down the street from Brood is pretty awesome.
We feel the same way.
My staff, so I'm sure you know some of my
We
staff.
do. We love them.
So what actually happened was, so they'll come in the morning. Now we stagger them a little bit, but they come in the morning and they get set up. Like all my servers will get set up, and then they'll be like, "Hey, chef, I'm gonna go down to Blackberry and get some coffee." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." And it's weird. Front of the house, they get coffee from you. Back of the house, they get food.
Yeah.
It's a thing, but it's also the same thing. Like I don't know if you guys do this. I do it all the time, and my staff makes fun of me. And like I'm chef owner at Brood and Barley, and I still look at the menu. I do. I look at the menu because I'm like, I don't know what I want today, so maybe something will like spark,
Right.
And I usually like go behind the bar and grab a menu. And Maddie, who works for us in the morning, she's always like, "Are you serious right now?"
Right. You know it all. You did it.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know what I want, and I look at the menu. But my kitchen crew is the same. I'll be like, "Guys, you make this food all day," and they're like, "Yeah, well, we don't have biscuits and gravy."
Right.
Blackberry Market.
Right.
So they love your biscuits and gravy.
Thank you.
They're huge fans of your biscuits and gravy. So, but Marco, one of my guys in the morning, he comes down. I want to say it's on Tuesday. As Tuesday is like his earlier day, so he's actually there before you open, and then could be one of the first people in your door. I think it's Tuesdays.
We're almost both off on Tuesdays usually, so
Okay.
probably don't know the flow, but yeah.
What is? I mean, I can tell you my favorite thing on your menu. You might know this. It's your tuna fish sandwich.
Yeah.
But I get it Peter's way.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's special.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the tuna melt too.
Yeah.
Peter doesn't eat meat, so I mean, he does eat fish, but yeah, I think the tuna melt is special.
Yeah. It's solid, and nobody, unless I make it myself, there's nobody else in the area that I get tuna from. So there
Thank
go.
you.
Yeah. It's solid.
Feels like a high compliment.
And the soup, whatever the soup is, I usually just get, a lot of the times, I actually haven't seen her in a while, but I don't think I've actually been, don't yell at me. I haven't been to Blackberry probably in a couple weeks. It's just been busy and, but I'll walk up and I'll see Melanie.
Yep.
And I'll like order the tuna melt and I'll say the soup but then she'll tell me what the soup is. And I'm usually like, I don't care. Just give me the soup. It's fine. It's always good. It's always good.
I'm a soup all the time kind of girl.
All year round too.
Me too. Doesn't matter. It could be 100 degrees. I'm on the soup train all the time.
We went out to dinner last summer in middle of July. And I ordered French onion soup. And my wife was like, are you effing kidding me right now? It's 105 degrees outside. I said, it's 105 degrees outside.
Right.
It's not 105 degrees. And here, air conditioning's pumping. I want French onion soup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm soup all year round.
I'll be making soup at home, like in the middle of the summer. My whole family's like, why? Like, it's just so good.
You don't have to eat it.
You didn't have to turn the oven on, just the stovetop. It's better.
Yeah.
Fine.
That's funny. So my Tuesdays are my day off, usually. You're never really off when you own a business, but I'm not in the building. Mm-hmm. So I do a podcast. But my wife, Chrissy, she's always like, all right, what are we eating for dinner? And I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea. And I'm the one, I'm like my dad, I'm like, there's tons of food in the house. You don't have to go shopping. We have plenty of food, And she's like, no, I want to cook tonight. I'm like, but I don't want to cook tonight.
Right.
Tonight we're making lasagna soup.
Oh, yum.
I don't know what that is.
Sounds good.
But I'm like, I love lasagna. I love soup. Let's do this.
Right.
And she said, and then I saw her grocery list, like that she's going to stop on the way home and she's got like sausage and fresh basil. And I'm like, okay, I'm cool.
Yeah, I want all that.
Yeah, I want it all. Yeah, exactly. But so the other cool thing about Blackberry Market, which I've taken advantage of plenty of times to talk about the soup, you have like I don't know what you call it. You have your own little refrigeration as soon as you walk in the door.
Mm-hmm.
So
we call it a grab and go.
Yeah, grab and go. There you go. So you got soup in there, but there's some other things in there that I'm always like, oh, well, that's cool. So help me out here. You have to help me out here. The oatmeal, are they like protein or energy? What are they called?
We call them energy bites.
Energy bites, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like oatmeal and flaxseed and some almond butter and
some chocolate chips.
Yeah.
And
they're a hot item.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, again, my wife went down to get a Rice Krispie treat. We'll talk about that in a minute. So she's like, I'll get you a coffee. I'm going to get a Rice Krispie treat. And, I always get your cold brew. I love your cold brew. And I just drink it black. But then she comes back with the energy bites. And she was like, here. And I'm like, at first I was like, what did you get? What is this? And she was like, well, they didn't have any soup in the case, blah, blah, blah. It was early. And she's like, I was at work. She was just dropping it off.
Right.
Eat them, And they sat in the office for like an hour, and then I had some paperwork to do. So I was like, okay. And then I started munching on them, and the next thing you know, they're all gone.
Right.
Yeah. They're delicious.
Yeah.
They're not
good.
cooked, right?
No.
Yeah. They're just ingredients rolled out.
Balled
scooped.
up. That's right. Yeah. It's delicious. I feel like our 19-year-old, he like half lives on energy bites.
Oh, really?
Like eating those for all things. Yeah.
My kids are 10 now, so we're at like chicken tenders.
Oh, yeah. They'll learn. It'll evolve, I'm sure.
Well, it's develop.
Yeah. Last time my parents visited, but I'm not picky. You can tell by looking at me. I was never a fussy kid. I'd eat anything. And I'm talking about like I eat anything from lima beans to I celebrate everything.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm that person. But my little sister, Kyle, no. Like my dad said, like the first 12 years of her life was like chicken tenders and fries. And then she moved on to spaghetti and meatballs until she was like 20. Uh-huh. But he did say like at that time, she started like spending time like sleeping over at friends' houses. And she wasn't going to say no. Right. So like they would make dinner and she would eat. And then she'd be like, oh, I kind of like that. And then she's asking my mom, hey, Mom, can we have this for dinner? And my mom was like, yes, right. We can.
A big celebration.
Yeah.
Yeah, our oldest, I felt like I was like probably like super prideful. And like I thought I had really done something right. Like he would eat anything. I like didn't give him any sugar for like the first 18 months of his life. You know, I was like, you will just eat whatever we have. And he was so great. And he is still like such a great eater, just like really adventurous. And then we had our second, and he's like, not having that, you know? Like, and I was like, oh, maybe actually it has nothing to do with me. And they're just their own people. And
they're just not going to make it that easy for you.
that's right. Keep you on your toes all the time.
Absolutely. That's what they do. You know? Again, when my parents were visiting last, I came like walking through the hallway, and I was like, guys, the hall light's on, the bathroom light's on, your bedroom light's on. And I walk out into the dining room, my dad's sitting there sipping coffee, just smiling at me. I was like, you shut up. Shut up. You know?
Gosh, I remember my dad doing that. Like, really? Could it be that important to just turn all the lights off?
And now I'm that guy.
Yeah, right. Conserve the energy. Good.
Yeah. Now I actually like look forward to like when they get older, and I'm gonna be like that grumpy dad on the couch in his like boxer shorts, being like, "Get out! I don't care."
That's pretty great.
All right, so I always ask this question because I'm always curious. I know, like, if you had to say to me, Brian, you're going to Brood and Barley, like, give me a progression of what are you eating, like. If I were to say, all right, Peter, if you're trying to like not only stuff that you love, but stuff like what would be like the perfect items, somebody that's never been in the Blackberry market before, like they walk up to the counter and like, what do you want them to order? Be like, this is their first time in. I really hope they get this. Or you know what I'm saying? Like this is putting our best foot forward. Like what would you say that would be?
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned our soups, and I definitely point people to that. We've got like a mix and match where you can get like the half sandwich and a soup, or half sandwich and a half salad. I always like people to start there just so they can try multiple things. I think our roast beef panini is really good, and our tavern ham panini. I like the tuna melt best, but I think the both of those sandwiches really showcase multiple things that we've got going on. They both have really good sauces. I love all our sauces, and we're doing all those in-house. And then, trying things out of the market case as, you know, either like a shareable for the table, like on top of your meal. But our market case is we've got like our chicken salad and tuna salad in there that stay in there, but it's mainly a case of like rotating salads. So I feel like it really gets to showcase our...
And when you say like your market case, that's like when you walk up to the counter. I know, like I can picture it in my head, all the baked items, which we're going to talk about, all the cookies and all that kind of stuff. But then, and to the right, that's your market case. That's like you said, like your chicken salads. I've seen quinoa salad in there before. I'm a sucker for quinoa.
Me too.
And not many.
Time.
I gave up doing quinoa at Brood and Barley because everybody's like, it just doesn't sell for us.
Like, what is it?
yeah, and I can explain it all day, and it just, for some reason, it just doesn't sell. It was on our original menu, and I took it off. It just doesn't sell. But I did have your quinoa salad out of that case, and it's delicious. Yeah, I'm a sucker for quinoa.
So we're like rotating things in there monthly. So like the chicken salad, the tuna, we have a pesto pasta, and fruit. Like those things stay the same every month. And then each month we're doing like a sweet potato salad, but it's different every month. We're doing a quinoa, it's different every month. Another pasta salad that's different each month. And then kind of an assortment from there.
I have to stop you there.
Yeah.
Sweet potato salad.
Yeah. So like we're roasting sweet potatoes, and then I can't think of what the one is this month, but like I'm just like going to space out, but like we have a Chipotle sweet potato salad. So it has like a Chipotle like creamy sauce in it and some black beans and corn. It's delicious. So like a potato salad, but just elevated a little bit.
So there's certain things. You said that you listened to Nate Miller's podcast, and I think it was his podcast where I said the same thing to him that I'm going to say to you. And I'll get off mic a little bit and say it. Fuck you. Okay. Sweet potato salad. That's like one of those things where it's like I get pissed off because I didn't think about it, because I didn't think of it. I never had a sweet potato salad before.
No, you need to come in and give it a try. Really good. And there, I feel like also is a place that we're like trying to showcase that like a thing that we feel like we're doing well and like want to do well is offer things for people who are eating vegetarian, people who are eating gluten-free, people that are eating vegan. So like we try to at least have 4 salads in there all the time that are vegan. So that, like, if you're a vegan, we have a plate that is just those sides. So, like, if you're a vegan, you can come in and pick the sides from there and, like, know that next month you have, like, a different assortment of things. Also, we sell those things, like, in half pints and pints and quarts so that, like, you could take them home. And, like, if you're grilling, you could, like, have that as your side. Right. So we try to, like, keep that as a mix. And I think it's, like, a fun thing. You talked about the grab and go. Also, the Market Case, both of those are places I feel like our staff is really able to like show their creativity, do the things that like they're passionate about, or that, you know, like they're finding a salad somewhere that like they're like, oh, let's try to, you know, recreate that or put our own spin on that. And so like those spaces are the place where we really like have creativity in those things.
That's cool because I can tell you that some of the worst kitchens I've ever worked in is like I had no creative freedom at all. And I don't want to work in those, and nobody wants to work in those kitchens. Everybody always says to me, like even Jess, like my business partner, my cousin, you guys met him. He'll be like, hey, you running any specials? I'm like, well, John's going to do a special, Kate's going to do a special, and everybody's like, how come Chef doesn't do any specials? I'm like, well, that's my menu. Let them showcase, like let them do their thing.
You got the great people.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, take advantage of it.
No, Peter and I are both. I mean, I would say we're both creatives. You know, like that is space we like, and so yeah, you want to give your people room to stretch those muscles and
yeah.
I mean, I think from the outside we can feel like a sandwich shop, or you know, which that's not leaving quite as much freedom for that. So like finding those places where they really are, bringing to the table what they've got. Good
creative outlet for the staff. And, I mean, I might as well, no time like the present. You guys have a kick-ass staff over there.
We agree.
Yeah.
For sure.
You do. You do. You know, we were talking earlier about names. You're probably the only staff in town that knows my name and cares to say it properly, so I appreciate that. But, you know, I had the privilege of, which is, I think, 2 years ago now, when we did the Taste of Argenta.
Oh, yeah.
I got a chance to work with Erin over there. And that young lady is a baller.
She's wonderful.
Yeah, she's still with you, right?
Yep.
And be like, off air, be like, oh, she's not with us anymore.
We've got a good handful of key folks that have been with us since the beginning. Erin Clifton is running our kitchen and one of those folks. And she does incredible stuff. And then Deborah Dobbins is our head baker, and she's also been with us since the beginning.
I just met Deborah like a couple weeks ago. I think the last time I was in, it might have been the time before that. And she was just coming out and I think putting stuff in the case.
Just sneaks out front every once in a while.
Yeah, for sure. Between Erin, you have a couple people that I always like see in the background.
Right.
But, you know, I've never really met them. Sometimes I'm that guy I always peek in the kitchen. Like, I'm not going to open the door to your kitchen or anything like that, but I am going to be like, oh, yeah, okay.
Well, Peter will just straight ask, like, could I look in your kitchen? Pretty, please? It's very fun, you know? Like, see what everybody's got going on.
I've said this a couple times on the podcast before, but a lot of people get angry or something, like if we go out to dinner and some people are like, they set us next to the kitchen. I'm like, yeah, they set us next to the kitchen.
I want to see it.
And when that door swings open, I'm looking.
Right.
You know, that's what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
So Brood and Barley was my wife's first working in a restaurant. That was her first restaurant job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before she started working in the restaurant, when we would go out, she'd be like, I don't want to sit next to the kitchen. It's all loud. But now she's about it too.
I want to know.
Like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to look at the expo and see how they're running that.
Oh, yeah. Us too.
Yeah.
Or like you see things, you're like, oh, yeah, they're doing that. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
they're doing
gosh.
it.
Yeah. And I think like for us, if we go out for like fine dining, then like it's just such a different animal that like we love to watch that and be like, I've never even had to think about that, you know, just a different flow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm certainly 100% that person.
Yeah.
100%. Well, let's talk. I mean, while we're at it, let's talk about baked goods. So you bake everything in house.
That's right. Not like our sandwich bread,
Yeah, but
but yeah, everything else we're like making from scratch.
and I know I'm gonna miss things, but I mean, I constantly see cookies, I see muffins, all that stuff, and they're all good. Like, so I'm a sucker for like traditional. I'm a chocolate chip cookie man.
Yeah.
Right now at Brood, we do chocolate chunk, like brown butter chocolate chunk cookies that I love.
Yum.
But when we got a Rice Krispie treat, my wife gets your Rice Krispie treats, gluten free. She will say to this day and forever that is the best Rice Krispie treat that she has ever had. And they are brown butter too, right?
That's right.
Brown butter Rice Krispie treats.
That's right.
She freaking loves those things.
They are a delight. It's true.
I have actually gone down and gotten a cold brew and then turned around and walked back to Brood and like walked into the office and my wife would text me and she goes, "You were just at Blackberry Market."
Shame.
And I saw the charge come through.
Right.
You know, saw that, but that doesn't look like the amount of a cold brew coffee and a Rice Krispie treat.
I really appreciate her for that.
Yeah. So then I've gone back down and I've been like, and actually Melanie called it one time. She was like, "You didn't get a Rice Krispie treat."
Right. She needs to just start saying to you, "Don't you need a Rice Krispie
Yeah.
treat?" Right.
Yeah. Yep. If it's not on the counter, just
Right.
put it there.
Put it there.
Yeah. And I got to the point where I hide them in like different places. So she knows it's there, but she'll be like, "Where's the Rice Krispie treat?"
Sniff it out.
I don't know. Hide it in the cabinet or something like that.
Oh, that's great.
But cookies, muffins, what else is in that case? Because I know there's a lot. There's cake pops. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got cake pops. Yeah, you hit on probably our best sellers, the Rice Krispie and the chocolate chip cookie. We're real proud of our cinnamon rolls. I feel like people are slowly discovering those, but it's a really good cinnamon roll. And then we always have a selection of there's something in there that's gluten-free or vegan as well. So not everything in the case is gluten-free and vegan, but we do have at least something for people who are trying to eat that way as well.
That's awesome. And there's a trend there in the last couple of conversations that we had is you guys you're looking at that stuff. So you're looking at the gluten-free, you're looking at the vegans, the dairy-free, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's good. I'm terrible at that. I'm just not good at it.
I feel like ours is like grown out of necessity. Like we have a child who is gluten-free just, due to like what that does to his system.
Yeah.
And then Peter and our other child are both pescatarians, eat fish but not meat. So I feel like it just like has opened our eyes to like how hard it can be to go out to eat, especially if your family has multiple things like that. It makes me like feel like I have to look at a menu before we go somewhere to make sure that like there is something that everybody can eat. So I feel like probably in the last 5 years that was like a big part of our family. So when we were opening Blackberry, bringing it here, and Peter's sister too, that that was just a high priority. That like we felt like anyone could come in and kind of find something that works for them.
And I'm sure, I mean, everybody knows now. The word is out. I walk past Blackberry constantly, and you're always busy. I mean, from what I see, at the times that I walk by, you guys are like, and to me, I'm definitely a rising tide guy. So it's like when I see you guys are busy, it makes me happy. Like somebody in town and doing good, happy, that kind of stuff.
Oh, for sure. I feel like and we've touched on Argenta just a little bit, but it's one of the things that we love so much about Argenta is we feel like everyone is like so for everyone else's success.
Yeah.
Like we love eating in Argenta and like just the community that creates and I feel like we have some really faithful people who are like coming in regularly and supporting us.
I definitely feel like the surrounding. It's funny because you could walk into Brood and Barley like any happy hour and see like the same people, which is what we want. It's great. You have those regulars that have become family and stuff. But
Right.
I feel like the same people that sit at my bar at happy hour are like the same people that sit at your place in the morning
Absolutely.
I think, which is awesome.
We love your happy hour. So I feel like, yeah, when we come in and like see people that we've seen that morning,
Yeah.
you know, like that's a great, just like the community feeling of that is so sweet to me.
When there's, you know, between the Mighty Rib and you know, all that kind of stuff, everybody who, you know, all the bloggers and everybody that posts, when somebody says like, hey, or I'm on like the North Little Rock Good, Bad, and Ugly. I don't know if you guys are on that one, but
Yeah.
I'm on there. I'd never post on there, but I follow it. And
Yeah.
you get a lot of stuff on there like, hey, I have some friends coming in from out of town. Where are we going tonight?
Right.
Or what are we going to do tomorrow? And my wife will actually tell me like, hey, somebody blah, 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 because she knows I'm going to get on there and I'm going to be like, you can just go to Argenta in the morning
Paying for the day.
and just do the whole progression. You don't
right.
even have to leave.
Yeah.
You know, which is awesome. It's one of the best things about it.
I love that too.
I can't tell you, Rob was in here a little bit ago, the head of tech over here, and he can probably, you know, they'll do like demographic and stuff like that, like who's listening to the podcast and that type of thing. But I can tell you that the people listening to the podcast, like all this guy does is talk about Argenta. I'm like, well, I love it. It's a great town.
It is
you
so
know?
great.
I also sit on the A&P commission, and you know, so we talk about North Little Rock, and I definitely do get a little narrow-minded there, and like when I think North Little Rock, just because of where we're at, I'm like Argenta, and you know, Heather and Karen and everybody over at the CVB, they're like, hey, Brian, like it's North Little Rock is a little bigger than Argenta,
Yeah.
just a little,
Yeah.
you know. I'm like, I know, but I'm kind of right here right now. That's where I'm at. It's a great town.
Yeah.
It's a great town.
Yeah.
When we were looking for where to open, we wanted to be in North Little Rock because that's where our communities would come and support us. But pretty quickly, we honed in on Argenta. I mean, yeah, just because of the work that had been done there. And we felt like also the surrounding communities were willing to come to Argenta that maybe wouldn't go further into North Little Rock.
Yeah.
Gonna come over the river, you know,
But just barely.
barely over the river.
Over the bridge.
So scary.
It's so far. What we tried to do, so when all right, listen, so being from Philadelphia, you know, Philadelphia, New Jersey, and our bridges are a lot bigger
Right.
than the bridges
Yeah.
in Little Rock and North Little Rock. So we're talking about like the Betsy Ross Bridge or the Walt Whitman, which is, you know, a giant bridges.
Right.
But when I was young, we would say, hit the bridge. Oh, let's hit the bridge. We're going to go over to Jersey. We're going to do this. And it was nothing. It wasn't a thing. So it was really funny, like when I moved down here and everybody, including my cousin, was like, people from Little Rock don't come. Yeah. We need to get them over the bridge. You got to get them over the bridge.
Yeah.
And I think you guys have certainly helped with that since you've moved in. I think you're getting people into town, which has been awesome. I mean, again, I'm a selfish person. So when I see that your spot is busy, I'm like, well, good. They're busy now, and I'll be busy for dinner tonight.
That's
you know,
right.
it's like, you know.
They're going to sit in there and drink their coffee all day, and then they're going to need those chips. Don't we all need those chips? We do.
I do love those chips.
Oh, my gosh.
They'll giggle at me in the kitchen and stuff, but when like certain items come out of the window, I'm like, that's like what fat kids dream about, like right there. Like that's what I sit and I think about.
Yeah.
Like everybody's thinking fairy tales and stuff. I'm thinking about chips.
Right.
It's like smothered in a blue cheese sauce.
Oh, my gosh.
think
It's
about.
amazing.
I love them.
Me too. Every time. I don't think I can come in and not have chips in some way.
I'm a chip person.
Yeah.
I always tell my kids, other than like chocolate chip cookies, I'm not much of a sweet eater. I look this way from salt. So I'm a salt man.
Me too.
And chips are a thing too.
No, I'm salt all the way.
Yeah, definitely. But you know what? One thing we haven't touched on yet. You guys sell alcohol too. Like as your grab and go, there's canned beer in there.
Yeah.
But you also have a cocktail menu.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that because I hear you make a pretty good old fashioned.
It's true. We're both old-fashioned drinkers. So that is like something different from the Chicago stores. Like they're not serving alcohol. They maybe do beer and wine. they also close a little earlier, but like when we found the spot in Argento, we really felt like we wanted to be open at least till 7, so that at least like if you're going to a show down there or if you're going to dinner at Brood and you're having to wait, like that there is like a space for you to come hang out, have a coffee if that's your thing, or have a cocktail if that's your thing, or just like the way that that pairs with brunch, which we want to do. I mean, you know, like that is we want to be a destination for brunch.
Yeah.
So, yeah, our nephew works with us, and he is our beverage manager. So he is like creating our cocktail menu,
Nice.
and as well as like creating our seasonal coffee menu.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Where's
And there's a lot of overlap in there. Usually, like when he's developed a flavor, like last summer, we did the blueberry basil, and so we had like the blueberry basil matcha, and then a blueberry basil latte, and then also a blueberry basil vodka soda. So he's got to use the house syrups that he's made
nice?
to do multiple things.
Yeah, so I have like the rule of 3. Like if I'm going to bring a product in, I need to use it 3 places on the menu.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And if I can't, that's like we don't bring it in.
Right.
It's, you know, I don't know, whatever it may be. I'm like, I want to bring in shrimp, or I want to bring in, you know, this clams or something like that. Like if I can't put it between the lunch and the dinner menu, if I can't put it on there 3 times, I won't do it.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause then you just got product just like sitting around.
Right.
You know, you like to think that one item that you put it in is gonna justify it, but it never does.
Right. And you just
very
like
rare.
want to keep it as fresh as you can. So moving through it, important.
For sure, it's a thing. Now, I do want to talk about the coffee though, because when you go to different places, with all the coffee shops around, like I love your cold brew, and you guys make that in house. Am I right by saying that?
We do. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're brewing it fresh. We're using Nexus coffee. We brew Intelligentsia like as our like coffee that we are serving all day every day, and then that's what's in our espresso machine. But we are getting to partner with some local roasters on our pour over selection that we offer, and then we use Nexus for our cold brew. So we're buying the beans from them, but then we're roasting it, or not roasting it, sorry. We're cold brewing it in-house.
How long is that process?
It's 20 hours.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a process for sure. And then it gets just like filtered, like what's that filter process? Like when you strain it out, is it just, you just strain it through like cheesecloth, or is it like coffee filters?
Yeah, it's a huge coffee filter.
Is that what it is?
You can use cheesecloth, but we've got it in a big 5-gallon bucket and a big 5-gallon coffee filter. And then we just move it from there into a keg. And then we've got it's the same cold brew in both places, but we've got just regular cold brew like what you drink, but then we also have it infused with nitrogen. So for our nitro cold brew.
I've had the nitro cold brew.
So and it's the same coffee, but it just infused with the nitrogen makes it taste a little sweeter, a little creamier.
Yeah.
Traditionally
Call
not
it
served with-
fluffier.
Yeah, a little fluffier.
That's the
Traditionally
way it
not served
feels.
with ice.
Next time I come in and get cold brew, I'm gonna fluff it up a little bit.
Yeah. Give me that fluffy
Give me
one.
the fluffy one. That's cool though, because I love that process. I mean, 20 hours. And the thing about it is too, all right, so don't smack me for saying this, but I have come in before and I've been like, give me a 16-ounce cold brew. And then whoever's on the other side of the register would be like, we're out of cold brew. And to most people, that would be like, oh, what the heck? Like ruin their day. But I'm like, no, that's fine. I'm okay with that. Like, you know, we make our own pastrami at Brood, and it's a process.
Right.
It's a process, and it has to be done right. So it's not ready. Okay, so there you go.
Yeah.
I mean,
coming.
yeah, it's coming, and I'll go back the next day. And then, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Now I know it's fresh right now, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
I'm that person, especially when it comes to people in town, when they put up the big sold out thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
And then
sold
you're
out.
like, I really want that. Now
Yeah.
I want that more.
I love your cold brew. But so this is what we're gonna do. We are gonna take a quick break. All right, we're gonna pay some bills. We're gonna listen to Rusty's beautiful voice for a second, and then when we get back, I want to talk about like what's going on in the future, and I also want to talk about second location. We haven't even talked about that yet. All right, so we will be right back with Heaping Spoonful.
I hope you're enjoying this episode of Heaping Spoonful. We at Benny Keith Foods enjoy talking about the food scene almost as much as we enjoy providing the top quality ingredients that help restaurateurs and chefs across the Mid-South create their magic. Now let's dive even deeper into the culinary world with your host, Chef Brian McFadden.
All right, everybody, we are back in Rose City. We're over here at Heaping Spoonful. I'm sitting here with Whitney and Peter from Blackberry Market. We touched on most, not all, because I know there's a lot of things behind the scenes over there that we haven't talked about, but we talked about cookies, we talked about the baked goods, we talked about the case, but I want to talk about, we have to talk about second location, because I think it's... You're sleeping on me over here.
It's true. Actually, like I thought when we talked about the count, we didn't even include it. It's like a half. It's like there's 5.5 locations.
So you opened up second location last year, right?
October.
In October. Okay. October 24?
Yes.
Okay. So it's actually more recent than I thought it was.
Yeah.
Where is it?
It's in the bottom of the Regions building. So they're the folks at the Regions building, they're doing a lot of work just trying to get more people into the downtown area.
Yeah.
And so they approached us, and it just felt like a good fit. So there's no kitchen, so we're bringing everything. We're bringing our baked goods over, and we're bringing some grab-and-go items that are more just like individual lunch portioned. But then the full coffee bar is just a replica of the coffee bar that we have in Argenta.
Okay.
And we mentioned our beverage manager, so Ben Chino is his name, and he's taken the helm of that location a lot at the beginning, and just getting that ready, getting that open, and he works there 2 days a week, and then back in our other space 3 days a week. So, but he's been one of the folks that has really gotten to know the regulars and the folks that are working in that building, as well as the surrounding buildings that are coming into that space.
He's a good dude. Yeah. Ben's a good dude. He's always so pleasant, and like they're hard to find anymore. You know, I hate to say it, but I mean it's true. Good people are hard to find. Yeah. He's awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I felt bad because like the first few months I know him, I didn't know his name. Yeah, and they have name tags on. I'm just terrible with that. I forget everything. I don't work behind the bar anymore. Yeah. So, but then finally I was like, man, I got it. And now I have it, but he's such a nice guy.
He is such a nice guy, and he's a huge Brewed and Barley fan. So
he's always so positive. Yeah, he always has really nice things to say. He always makes me feel good.
Yeah.
And
he loved. I mean, we really love to eat and be out, trying things. So yeah, he's always like, "Have you had the seasonal menu yet? Have you had the cocktails?" Like, yes. Let's compare notes.
Now, when you talk about second location, so I can tell you, for us thinking about a second location, there's a lot of meetings. There's a lot of like, we're going to sit down and I mean, you talk about how, so this location over here in the Regions building, there's no kitchen.
Yeah.
So you're doing production out of Argenta. Mm-hmm. Now, let's talk about that conversation. Like you're talking to, I would assume, Aaron and then Debbie, right?
Yep, Deborah.
Yeah, Deborah. So you're talking to both of them and say, hey, guys, like, this is what we want to do.
Right.
And it's kind of always one of those things as a business owner, you kind of like, I know how I do it. And everybody always tells me, like, Brian, you shouldn't do it that way. But I know how you guys are. I know you take care of your people and you want to make sure that they're okay and everything like that. And even though like the second location was going to happen either way, you're still going to talk to them and say like, hey guys, like, how do you feel about this? You know, this is what we want to do. Let's have this conversation.
Yeah.
So how did that conversation, like, and if you're doing all the stuff, like,
no, so we don't have like any hot sandwiches. We're not doing.
It's just like the baked goods and...
It's baked goods and then, like the things that would be in that grab-and-go case. So, like, we're sending over, like, some salads and those market sides, the sweet potato salad, chicken salad, those kind of things, sending those things over. I feel like more for, like, a grab and take with you.
Yeah.
We do have some seating in this space, but, like, about 20 seats.
We haven't touched on that yet. I feel like 20 seats at a coffee shop is. I shouldn't say just coffee shop. I feel like I'm limiting by just saying coffee shop because I know that's not all it is. But just because of this, now I'm holding up a laptop right now. I know you can't see into the studio, but 20 seats, and then probably a third of those people are sitting there on their laptops, like doing work and doing business, which you want, which is great, but at the same time, people taking up space.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
I feel like when we took on this space, we really understood, and what has been pretty true is that most of the people going into this space are working somewhere where they're walking there from work. So I feel like we have less people sitting there, more people grabbing and taking. So, I mean, there definitely are people that are coming down, with someone else from their office or meeting someone from a different office and visiting or whatever, but less of a culture of sitting there with the laptop in the Regions building than we have in Argenta.
I know that I can walk into Argenta at any given moment, and there's a lot of people on laptops.
That's right.
I try to be, and I'm not talking bad. If you're out there listening to this on your laptop at Blackberry, I'm not mad at you. Okay. All I know is that sometimes
contributing to that environment that we wanted to create.
Yeah,
it's good. It's good.
Yeah. Just. I want to eat my tuna sandwich.
Right. Please give me a table.
Or can I just sit at the table with you? We don't even have to talk.
That's right. They probably wouldn't even notice.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true.
Yeah.
And I've done it a couple times too, come in. The thing about it is if you see me, my laptop at Blackberry Market, it's because I don't want to be bothered. And if I have paperwork to do, I can't sit in the office at Brood and Barley.
Listen, we know.
I know you know. It's
I'm I'd love to come sit in Blackberry and watch the people, and all of that is so much fun to me. But yeah, you're definitely going to be asked 100 questions because that's just the nature of the beast.
It happens to her more than me, but yeah, it's hard to be in the space and not.
I sometimes I'm I have a sous chef for a reason. And if he's across the table from you, I need you to ask him that question because I am I love this business.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love this business. I've been in the restaurant business my entire life. I never got out of it. I've had other jobs, but I've always had a toe in it.
Right.
I absolutely love the business. But there is one thing I hate about it, and it's the paperwork. But I mean, obviously you have to do it. I mean, you have to know where you're at. I actually had, you have seen us. We've been into Blackberry quite a few times. I have that little breakfast club.
Yeah.
That, and this morning, and they were they were asking me of the podcast because a lot of times I'll see them on Tuesday morning, and then I'll come hear the podcast. So they're always who are you going to have on the podcast today? And I said, I got Peter and Whitney today from Blackberry Market. And they were oh, yeah. Next meeting, let's go to Blackberry Market. So everybody in the group is a big fan.
Awesome.
And we're talking about John Brandenburger, Community Bakery, Rich Cosgrove, Whole Hog. They love your spot. So I just figured I wanted to tell you guys that because they're big fans. They're big fans.
Thank you.
But let's talk about second location again. So so you're down in the Regions building, a little bit smaller of a setup, and Ben's kind of taking the helm on that. What do you look for in a second location other than the obvious, making money? Obviously, this has to be worth it, and you have to staff it, right? So you're staffing it. What's production look like? So say if you take Deborah and you take Aaron in the kitchen. I'm just throwing those names out there because they're the ones that I know. But you're talking about production. You're talking a third more? I mean, how does that change your production at Blackberry Argenta?
Yeah.
Other than I know it's more, but are you saying all right, I guess detail-wise, they're coming in at, you open at 7, right?
We open at 7.
7 to 7. But so I'm guessing somebody's there at 5 o'clock in the morning, maybe earlier.
Maybe earlier,
yeah. Our bakers are in at 4.
Yeah.
And I feel like the weight of it is definitely in the bakery, as far as like how our production has shifted to support regions. Just because like we are doing fresh bakery every day. So yeah, I feel like it is amping up the things that they're already doing. You know, I feel like in quantifying that, like in workflow is hard because, you know, if you're making 3 different things, that's 3 times. But if you're just making more of the thing you were already making, the time is not quite as great. So
And it's also nice that it's just a Monday through Friday at the Regents building.
Okay.
So, so really it's turned into like every day is a Saturday, Sunday, you know, so Saturday, Sunday, we bake more off for our space in Argenta. And so they're probably doing about that same quantity and just shipping part of that on a weekday to the Regents building.
Gotcha. And when you say shipping, does that mean you take it over there? Is that what
it
means?
means someone is taking
somebody
it
is.
every morning. So yeah, like fresh baked goods. And then like the case we're just filling. So like, you know, we have pars set for that of what we're keeping over there. And yeah, depending on like what has sold on a Monday, that's how much we're sending on a Tuesday.
So if you sell all of the sweet potato salad.
Right. Then you
Then
gotta
you gotta-
scoop it all up. That's right.
Well, that's awesome. Well, what's all right? Well, we're gonna talk about like stuff that. What do you want people to know, like about Blackberry Market? Like, is there anything out there like, okay, like fresh baked goods, second location, we serve alcohol, we make our own cold brew, you can vegan, you know, dairy-free stuff, gluten-free stuff, all that stuff, which is all awesome. I might have just routed them off for you.
Yeah, good job.
But what's the future hold for Blackberry Market?
I mean, I feel like the place that we can still grow is in our catering. So we do a lot of catering, and just because our menu has so many like fresh items, it travels really well. And so like doing platters of our baked goods or platters of our mini sandwiches or, you know, some of those sides turned into like just bigger portions of that we can send to catering. And Melanie, who you mentioned before, Melanie Shelton is our catering manager and does a great job keeping that organized. But I feel like that's a place that that people may not know that we're a solution for them yet.
Yeah.
Would be good. And then also because we close at 7 every day, we've got an opportunity to rent our space out at night. And we've done that a few times. We've got a wedding reception coming up in a couple months. But we definitely could be doing that more as well. And so if you're looking for a place to, you know, have a 100-person or less gathering. We could rent out the whole space or just the upstairs. And just because our space is so fun to be in, we just feel like it lends itself well to that.
And it really is a fun space. And I never even thought about that. That's good. That's an outlet for me too. Like I never thought about that. So yeah, you're open 7 to 7 and you're open 7 days a week, right?
That's right.
777. But you can rent the space too. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, and I feel like you touched earlier just on like the way it feels a little homey.
Yeah.
So I feel like the kind of gathering that you would like want to have in your home, but like maybe your house isn't, you know, set up to have 50, 75 people, then like you have, you know, that kind of feeling, but in a space that could be rented.
And there is, you know, just like we mentioned, it's the trifecta there. So it's a comfortable space. You know, the food is there, but you have alcohol too. So there's a bar there too.
Right.
So you don't have to outsource anything. Everything's there.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I never even thought about that. That's just me being narrow-minded.
Oh.
So, you know, just,
I think unless you like put it out in the universe, I'm like, yeah.
but catering too. This is one thing that, you know, we try to push too at Brood is like catering. Like I can make this stuff to go.
Yeah.
You know, and you mentioned like small sandwiches. You talking about like tea sandwiches, or you like just like half sandwiches, like platters, that kind of stuff as far as catering goes, or like soups, like. And obviously, like, you know, baked goods on, you know, trays, cookie trays and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I would say the thing that we do the most right now is, like either like a breakfast bakery tray or like a traditional bakery tray where we're just like doing small of our brownies and our Rice Krispies and those things on trays. So we do a lot of that. And then, I mean, it's just like, it's a little bigger than a tea sandwich, but like a mini sandwich, like a tray of mini sandwiches. But we also offer some things that like aren't on our classic menu, but that are on our catering menu. Nice. All that pretty easy to find online.
And we do box lunches. So that's been a good fit for a lot of folks because then you can just pass them out. So either taking orders beforehand or just doing an assortment, doing, a dozen Arkansas Club, a dozen chicken salad.
Yeah.
And it's got the sandwich and a mini cookie and a side in there, all just ready to hand out to folks.
That's awesome. I love box lunches.
Me too.
We've done them a few times at Brewed and Barley. Never like a set. What I was always trying to do is like get a business of like once a month you do lunch for, I'll do lunch for you like the second Wednesday of every month when you do this meeting. It hasn't really caught on yet, but I love box lunches.
Yeah.
And I'm like on both ends. I like doing box lunches, and I also like receiving.
Right.
Everything's there. You got a sandwich, with a cookie, a little bag of chips.
That's right. The whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's there.
And I feel like also in that, like, just keep going back to that, like, because we have the offerings for like vegan or vegetarian or gluten-free, like that we can do the box lunches, that are like equipped for all of that. So like we have vegan cookies, we have gluten-free cookies. So like you could build your box lunch and it be for that. We're like making our own gluten-free bread. So, you could do a sandwich on a gluten-free bread.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
What kind of bread? Like I know it's gluten-free, but are we talking about like sliced bread? Are we talking about rolls?
It's more like a roll, yeah. So when people are asking me, like I feel like it's a little hard to describe, but yeah, it's not a sliced bread. It is like a bun, like it's being baked off as like a ball,
Is it?
And baking is definitely not my specialty. So like I
have such a big respect for bakers.
Me too.
I'm awful. Now I make bread.
Well, I'm like, let's put this and let's add a little of that. You can't. Baking is
Peter,
like more,
tell Whitney to
more
get out of here, please.
Way more sciencey than that.
I'm better at baking because I need to follow the exact directions if I'm doing something.
Peter likes a rule, so
yeah. That's been a thing at Brewed too. Like I've had plenty of cooks come in. They're like, Chef, I really want to run this special. And I'm like, awesome, that's cool. Let's do it. So run the special and we'll run it maybe 2 or 3 times. So we'll run it one weekend and then we'll take a break and we'll run it like, the following month or whatever. And then we get to a point where we're like, and it's sold for us really, really well.
Right.
I'm thinking about putting it on the menu. Do you have recipes? No. Because cooking, you can be like, oh, it needs a little bit more cayenne. Right. Let's taste it. But you can't do that with baking. It's a science.
Yep.
And that's why I have such a big respect for bakers because I don't have any patience.
Yeah.
That's my thing. I just have no patience. I do bake bread. And I know when I do bread, and we don't use my bread at the restaurant, I can't keep up with it. So, I don't. But I make like Italian bread, and I love that recipe. Mm-hmm. My wife used to do sourdough, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to like, you're talking about like muffins and cookies and all that stuff.
So much like weighing and things like that.
I'm just like, can I?
They're super good at it. I'm really glad. I'm grateful.
Yeah. Well, they say always surround yourself by people that are better than you.
That's right.
That's what I have to do. And just find those people and take care of them.
Yes. No, on these snow days, our bakers like couldn't make it in, but we were trying to open just so like the people who are, living down there can like walk and have something. I'm like, I'm going to have to bake the things. Like, I do know I've like learned, but it is so scary to me.
She did a great job.
Yeah, it was fine.
Heck yeah. Rock and roll.
Yeah.
You're going to be a victim of your own success.
I don't know.
Hey, I want to take a week off. Whitney's got this.
Right. She does not. I'm pretty comfortable in the kitchen, but the baking scares me.
Yeah, it scares me too.
Yeah.
It scares me too. Even like my sous chef and my lead line cook right now is a young lady by the name of Kate, and she's awesome. And they're like, hey, chef, what do we, is there anything we need? Yeah, we need cookies. Make cookies. And we're like, but there's some, just make cookies. Just make cookies. Well, but I want to backtrack a second. I'm sorry, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but this gluten-free bun.
Yes.
Okay. What are we using, like almond flour, or what are we using in that?
I think that it is like a mixed gluten-free flour that they're using. So I think it's like a almond tapioca flour.
Okay.
One other thing that I can't think.
Rice flour?
Maybe rice flour.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Like, it has a pretty nice taste. A little bit of chew, but it's not like gritty. You know, like gluten-free things can be a little sandy, kind of.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it's really nice. And I feel like the word has gotten out about it. And so, we're moving through it quick. So it's always like, been made very recently.
Yeah. I love that. That's really cool. We get that a lot. Again, I'm a selfish person, so the first thing popping in my head right now is maybe I can buy gluten-free buns from Blackberry Market.
Oh, yeah.
And then, take it, because we get asked that stuff all the time. And it's one thing I will admit I'm terrible at.
Oh, yeah.
Like, people will come in. Now, if you were to call, and say, hey, listen, I'm coming in with my wife and her family. They're in from out of town.
Yeah.
And her sister is gluten-free, and it's legit. It's not like she's not on a diet.
Right.
It's a legit allergy.
Yeah.
Because it does flow the other way a lot too.
Yes.
It's a legit allergy. Like, can you accommodate? And I always say yes. And I'm like, but my go-to there is like, please have her look at the menu. Mm-hmm. And if there's anything that she really likes, I'll make it and I'll take care of it. Like, it'll be gluten-free. I'll cook it myself. It'll be fine, you know, but give me an idea of what she wants. Mm-hmm. I want to be ahead of it. So, when she comes in, I'm prepared.
Yeah.
Not like this and that. And I got to worry about sterilize. I want to be ready for it. That's how I do it. But I don't have that. That's like ideal scenario.
Yeah.
I don't have that all the time. Most of the time it's people who just come in and be like, I'm gluten-free, I'm dairy-free, and please, this is...
Right, can't contaminate.
Yeah, this
nothing.
is legit. They got to wear gloves. We got to sterilize. We got to do this.
I think actually our gluten-free bread would hold up really well, like with a burger.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should. We need to collaborate.
Yes. I think we're going to talk about that off the air.
I want to eat it. Sounds good to me.
So in the future, are we thinking maybe 3 locations or?
I'm like on a never say never. And
we definitely opened with a different model in mind than my sister. Like, my sister's got a commissary that is now supporting all of her locations. And so when we opened in Argenta, we were not planning to move to that. The Regions building just fell in our lap, and that's been a great fit. And if something else came along, we'd be open to it. But we're really happy being in Argenta, getting to work in the space.
It's also one of those things too where you can't spread yourself too thin. Like, I am a firm believer. So ex-business partner wanted to open up another location like hours away. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't want to do that because I can't be there. Mm-hmm. And like, if I have to put a fire out, literally or figuratively, I want to be close, so I don't want to deal with something, hours away.
Yeah.
Because I'm from Philadelphia, like, my family's like, why don't you just open up a brew in Philly? I'm like, it's 1,800 miles away.
Right, it's just too much.
Like, I want to be able to come in a few days a week, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we're in this space, and we like being in this space, and I feel like I think it feels like the only thing I can equate it to is like having more children.
Yes,
you know what it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's real fun in theory. And of course you love the child, but also
you want to choke it sometimes.
Well, or just you remember what it is to have an infant, and
Every day.
the infancy of it. And I just feel like we're only 2 years in, and we're 2 years in, we're only 2 years in. It's like, we just still have a toddler of a restaurant.
Yeah.
You're still, we have a great staff, and we're so grateful for that. But it's a very hands-on, all the time business, and I think you think through those things. But at the same time, you're like, it's so fun, and we love it, a whole lot. So
And to me, like opening up another location is just like another outlet for me to be creative, which
Right.
is always fun, But you sometimes you get like saturated in thinking about the creative part of things, and then there's work too.
that's where I get myself in really big trouble.
the
I'm like,
same.
ooh, I want to make it. I want to pick out the furniture.
Yeah.
I want to have these people build the tables and do, like all of that is so exciting.
And I go to like
Think
different
about the
places
food.
too.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're doing, I love the research part of things.
Oh,
So you're
agreed.
like, go to other places, go check it out. And I'm talking, when I say go to other places, I'm not talking about like just going over the very small bridge.
right. Can do it.
Yeah. I'm talking about like going to another state and like,
Yeah.
checking out what they're doing and
Right.
looking for inspiration. I am not that person. I am not going to steal. I'm not going to steal a concept or steal anything like right up. But I'm like, that's interesting.
Right.
I think. I
Oh, yeah. Your brain is always on like the,
always.
well, and like what do we have in Little Rock? What does Little Rock still like need or could use,
Yeah.
because we love our community. We love being here in Central Arkansas. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
I also do the when people go on vacation, and actually I'm going to throw this out there for you. Well, not that you have 2 locations now. I know you're not going on vacation very often, but I also am like when somebody goes on vacation, I'm like, hey, just grab me some to-go menus.
Oh yeah.
Give me to-go menus, and like I have this girl, Caitlin, that worked with me back at a place called the Spinnerstown Hotel, and she was that girl that she would like save money for 6 months, and then she would go away for a couple weeks, and then come back, and then she already knew where she was going next.
Yeah.
Even now, I'm actually trying to get her to move to Arkansas and work with us. But she's back in Pennsylvania now. But when I was working with her, when she would go away, she'd bring me like stacks of to-go menus, and I would just sit there at my coffee table at the end of the night and just look through, like see what
love
people
that.
are doing in other places. It's fun. It's so fun to me.
Oh, me too.
But then,
Love food.
like you said, like my cousin's always like, "Hey, Brain, you're allowed to say no.
Right.
You can say no. I don't want to say no. I want to write a menu.
Right. It's so much fun.
Well, good stuff, guys. I really appreciate you coming on. You were on my list from the beginning to have you on the podcast. So I'm happy we were able to do it. And I'm such a big fan of you guys. I'm a big fan of not only you as people, but I'm a big fan of your success. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy like watching. I can't believe it's been 2 years. I wouldn't have guessed that. I can't believe it's been 2 years. But for me, having you guys there, it's been a good, town like partnership in Argenta, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you guys for that.
We're grateful to be your neighbor.
Yeah. I love having you guys down there. My parents are coming into town in a few weeks, and I don't know if you met them the last time they were in town. We were at Blackberry, but I don't know if you got a
Yeah, I
chance
don't
to meet
think I
them.
did.
But I'll bring them in when they come in.
Oh yeah.
They'll be down for we're having a big party in February, so a bunch of families coming into town. So you'll meet some of them.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's going to be a good time. But Blackberry Market, Argenta, 7 days a week, 7 to 7.
That's right.
And there's
7 to 6 on Sundays, but
7 to 6 on Sunday, but that's brunch. Brunch Saturday, Sunday.
and our menu is the same all the time. And
but
actually, we offer our whole menu all day. So breakfast that you can come in and get for dinner.
Awesome.
Yeah.
If you had to like ask me right now, like what to walk into Blackberry, like go to Blackberry, get the cold brew, get the tuna sandwich, ask it Peter's way. Does everybody know Peter's way?
Oh yes, they do.
okay.
They know.
Mainly just throwing the caramelized onions on pretty much anything.
Yeah,
That's Peter's way.
that's true. Yeah, it won't work. Don't tell them that Brian sent you, but you can say, yeah.
If
Get the tuna
Melanie's there,
sandwich.
that's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Rock and roll. Well, thanks again, guys. I really appreciate it. And we're going to check back in a year from now and see where you're at then. We're going to check on the new location and see what's changed in a year. I've been telling everybody that, like, I'm going to have you back in a year, and, we'll see exactly where you're at and what's changed and where we're at in Argenta. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
because a lot changes in a year.
for sure.
You'd be surprised. To us, it's just kind of like day to day, but then when you check on it a year later, you're like, oh wow, a lot has changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm going to get ready for outdoor dining.
Oh, yeah.
Exciting. I like that weather. Yes. No, I love it. I want to sit in front of your space all day.
I just don't. I love it. I'm a jealous person. So, like, we're getting our butts kicked at outdoor dining. I want to be sitting outside on the street and drinking a margarita and, eat. That's what I want to do.
I think that's the nice thing about us, like, closing early. Because we can be done and be like, yeah, now we can go sit in front of Brood. It's perfect.
I've already said to my crew, like, hey, there's 4 outdoor dinings in Argenta. I'm taking one of them off. Okay, I'm taking one of them off, and you'll see me because I'll be there.
Right.
But I'm not working.
I'm just going to sit there.
Good plan.
I have not enjoyed one outdoor dining since we've opened. This year I'm doing it.
Yeah.
That's my resolution for that.
I like that. You can do it.
Yeah. And then,
Try.
yeah, I'm going to try to do it. I'm going to try to do it. And I'll be like, guys, I already had a drink. I can't help. I'm sorry.
Right.
Well, thanks again, guys. I really appreciate it. And we are going to check in a year, for sure. I'd like to thank everybody over here at Benny Keith Studios. I would like to thank Rusty Mathis. This is Rusty's brainchild. I'm just a squirrel in his world. Well, thank you, Rusty, for the platform. I really appreciate it. I know everybody does. I'd like to thank Rob Nelson. He's the head of tech over here. And Rob is the guy that makes us sound good. So we're always really nice to Rob. Mm-hmm. It's always, if you see Rob come in the Blackberry, be very nice to Rob.
For sure.
Yeah.
Makes you sound good.
Yes. Thanks again, Rob, and thanks to everybody. Thank you, and see you again. If you are out there and you're listening to Heaping Spoonful and you want to come on and tell your story, hit us up over here at Benny Keith. I would love to hear it. Thanks again. Here from Heaping Spoonful.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Heaping Spoonful. On behalf of all of us at Benny Keith Foods, Mid-South Division, please know how much we love connecting you with the legends of the culinary scene and their unique stories. I look forward to the next time we can offer you another Heaping Spoonful.